everybody! Back with another video all about the customary units of length. So in the US, we use the customary system, and we're really the only country that does. The rest of the world is still on the metric system. But as discussed before with you and your teachers, I'm sure, is that the reason we're still using the customary system is money, really. It's going to take a lot of money for us to change everything we know about measuring things and measuring length to just convert to a brand new system. So that would be a lot of time and money that our country just doesn't feel the need to spend, and rightly so. So customary units are going to be things like inches, feet, yards, and miles. That's how we measure things, and the metric system has its separate measurement system that we'll talk about tomorrow. A couple of things to keep in mind. When you are converting a larger unit to a smaller unit, such as feet to inches, because a feet is bigger than an inch, then you would multiply. So you would multiply the amount of feet to find out how many inches are in that amount of feet. And then when you convert a smaller unit to a larger unit, then you know that you are going to divide those numbers. So if you have an amount of inches, you want to find out how many feet are those inches equal to, you would divide it by the number of feet. So let's look at some examples. So first off, I'm going to have my key up above, and that is that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So if I have 1 foot, there are 12 inches in that foot. 1 yard has 3 feet, so it'd be 3 feet and 36 inches. So if you think about how many inches are going to be in a yard, it'd be the same as having 12 3 times, which would be 36. And then a mile, it has 1,760 yards in it, 5,280 feet in it, and actually 63,360 inches in it. Most of the time, you're not going to be converting these numbers. Usually it's going to be feet, inches, and yards. So let's look at some examples here today. So when converting feet into inches, we know that we are going from a larger unit, feet, to a smaller unit, inches. A foot is bigger than an inch. So thinking back to my tip, when you are converting a larger unit to a smaller unit, that means that you multiply. What do I multiply? Well, if there are 12 inches and 1 foot, then we need to multiply our 12 inches by 2 to find out how many inches are in 2 feet, right? Because we've got 2 groups of 12. So that means we have 24 inches. 24, I'll write it on the blank. 24 inches in 2 feet. Here we have the opposite. We're going from inches to feet. So again, if there are 12 inches and 1 foot, then we would divide 48 by 12. So how many groups of 12 fit into 48? So you could think about groups of 12. Well, I know 2 groups of 12 is 24. So what would 24 plus 1 more group of 12 be? That would be 36 plus 1 more group of 12. That would be 48. So how many groups of 12? We know the 24 stood for 2, 3, 4 groups of 12. That means 4 feet fit into 48 inches. Okay, now I could have also just added up 12 4 times, which would be another strategy for me to get there. Next we have yards to feet. So if I have 6 yards, that's going to be bigger than my amount of feet here. So that means when you convert larger to smaller, then you would multiply. So how many feet are in 1 yard? 3 feet are in 1 yard. So that means we have 3 groups of 6. Or 6 groups of 3. So if you multiply those 6 yards by the 3 feet that are in each of those 6 yards, we'll get how many feet are in 6 yards, which would be 18 feet, because 3 times 6 is 18. We'll use another color for the next one. So now, how many feet are in blank amount of yards? So 24 feet in blank amount of yards. Well, feet are smaller than yards, right? So if there are 3 feet in 1 yard, then we can divide our 24 feet divided by 3, right? Because anytime you have a smaller unit that you are converting to a bigger unit, you're trying to see how many of these fit into one of these, or how many 24 feet will fit into how many yards, then we divide. So just think big to small, multiply, small to big, divide. So 24 divided by 3 would equal 8. 24 divided by 3 is 8, so there are 24 feet equals 8 yards. Next we have how many feet? 5 feet. So how many inches are in 5 feet? So now we're going big to small. So this is opposite. When you go big to small, you multiply. Small to big, you divide. So I want to see how many 5 feet are multiplied by the amount of inches in 1 foot. So if there are 12 inches in 1 foot, then how many groups of 12 fit into 5 feet? So that would be how many inches in all. I know that 5 times 12 is 60. If I didn't know that, I could add 12 5 times, or I could multiply 5 times 10 plus 5 times 2. So next we have how many yards are in 6 feet. We're going from feet to yards, so we're going from small to big. Feet are smaller than yards. When we go small, big, we divide. When we go big, small, we would multiply. So if I have 6 feet and there are 3 feet in 1 yard, then I'd have 6 divided by 3 would tell me how many yards were in 6 feet. I know that 3 times 2 is 6, so there are 2 yards would be equal to 6 feet. Last conversion of the day, miles to feet. So miles are way bigger than feet, so let's look up at my handy dandy key here. I would suggest writing this down for yourself so you can always refer back to it. So in 1 mile, I want to see how many feet there are. So in 1 mile, there are 5,280 feet. So 5,280 feet are in 1 mile. So I want to know how many are in 2 miles. So I just need one more group of 5,280 feet to find out how many feet are in 2 miles. So I can add that number up twice. 8 plus 8 is 16. 2 plus 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. So now I have 10,568 feet. Okay, I will leave a conversion chart in your assignment so you can refer back to, or you can make your own. I recommend making your own because the more you write this down, the more it goes into your brain from memory. And if you write it down and say it out loud at the same time you're writing it down, it'll commit to your memory even more. This is research proven, guys. So I suggest you do that. But if you're not feeling it, I'll have an extra one in the assignment for you to refer back to. Please come to me for questions. I'll be happy to help out with this, guys. Just remember, when you convert large to small, you multiply. Small to large, divide. So inches to feet, we would divide. Small to large, divide. Large to small, multiply. All right, guys, have a wonderful Thursday.